Christopher Plummer is a Canadian actor with a prolific career spanning over 7 decades. He made his film debut in the 1958 movie Starstruck. Just a decade shy of turning 100, many fans have been pleasantly surprised to learn he has no intention of slowing down his acting career. He was born December 13, 1929, to John Orme Plummer and Isabella Mary. His parents separated after his birth, and he was raised by his mother. He fell in love with acting when he was quite young and became involved in theater while attending high school. In one interview, he mentioned that the first time his father saw him in person was while he was on stage. However, he seems to harbor no bitterness towards his father and described him as a sweet and charming man. In many cases, film stars skyrocket into fame at a young age and then burn out as they grow older. For Christopher Plummer, however, his acting career has been a steady climb. While he played many rich and acclaimed roles during his earlier years, his roles seem to be growing all the more steadily as he gets older. Despite his age, Plummer is quite happy working as an actor, and he doesn't plan on slowing down anytime soon. For some celebrities, acting is both physically and emotionally exhausting. The film industry is extremely competitive, and actors are worked very hard. As a result, many older actors find they simply don't have the energy to keep up in the film industry any longer. To Christopher Plummer, though, acting is a lifelong passion that he couldn't dream of giving up, and he's mentioned in several interviews he plans on continuing to act until he dies. At this point in his career, you might expect Plummer to become sentimental and reflective, but he claims he doesn't have the time to consider his legacy. After all, he still feels he has a lot more work to accomplish. Turning 90 hasn't stopped Plummer from being his old lively self, and his energy is seemingly endless. Because Christopher Plummer is too busy to reflect on his legacy, in today's video, we're going to do it for him. He's not as young as he once was, and he sadly doesn't have the time to accomplish everything he ever wanted to do. Make sure you stick around to find out the one role that Christopher Plummer regrets turning down the most. He's the oldest person to win an acting Oscar. During the 84th Academy Awards ceremony, Christopher Plummer won Best Supporting Actor. He played the role of Hal Fields in the 2012 film Beginners, a romantic comedy drama starring Ewan McGregor. Plummer did a spectacular job portraying an openly gay man who comes out to his son after the death of his wife. The premise of the film was inspired by writer and director Mike Mills's personal life experience. When Mike's mother died, his father came out as gay. This film is about embracing familial relationships as well as appreciating love in every form. Plummer felt honored to finally receive an Academy Award, something many people viewed as long overdue. Years later, when he was 88, he was also nominated for Best Supporting Actor for his role in All the Money in the World. While he didn't win this nomination, he broke the record for oldest person to ever be nominated for an Acting Academy Award. He doesn't believe he's having a renaissance. Any Christopher Plummer fan will try to make the argument his career is experiencing a renaissance. In 2019 alone, he was either filming or appearing in 3 different movies: Knives Out, The Last Full Measure, and Cliffs of Freedom. At the same time, he was also playing a recurring role in the popular TV series Departure. But this surge in roles, according to Plummer, has nothing to do with a renaissance. In one interview, Plummer explained he's always felt his life in theater to be very rich and fulfilling. He never once felt as though he was experiencing a dip in his career, because he's always had roles on stage or in film. While he hadn't been appearing in as many feature films for a time, he was still busy acting in the theater, and to Plummer, that's what truly counts. He's had a long romantic history with another film star. Most Hollywood relationships are tumultuous, passionate, and short-lived. For Christopher Plummer and Elaine Taylor, however, that's not the case. They married in 1970, and the two have been together ever since. On October 2, 2020, they celebrated their 50-year anniversary together. Elaine Taylor experienced the height of her career in the 60s and 70s, when she starred in many comedy films. While she's since retired from acting, she has just as much energy as her loving husband. Plummer also explained she's always been very supportive of his career. Christopher Plummer has remarked on several occasions he feels guilty for marrying her, as he thinks, quote, she could have married a duke or a prince. Considering they've spent all these decades together, it's probably safe to say Elaine Taylor enjoys his company just as much as he enjoys hers. He regrets rejecting the role of Gandalf. Sir Ian McKellen's role as Gandalf in the legendary Lord of the Rings trilogy is nothing short of iconic. However, did you know Christopher Plummer was originally offered the role? Plummer admitted that the rejection of the role is one of the biggest regrets he has about his career. However, this wouldn't be the first or last time Plummer turned down a high-profile role. He has a long history of declining roles in blockbuster films, often choosing instead to act in lower-profile movies that appealed to him more. Another reason why he turned down the role of Gandalf is a bit more obvious. Older actors have to be a bit more choosy about the roles they pick, especially if that role is expected to be a long commitment. Ultimately, Plummer decided he wanted to experiment with other roles later in life, and he didn't want to feel tied down by such a beast of a movie franchise. Turning down the role of Gandalf isn't Plummer's only regret, though. Make sure you stick around until the very end of the video, where we'll reveal one career path Christopher Plummer wishes he would have followed. And if you're enjoying this video so far, please take a moment to like it and subscribe to our channel for more. The Sound of Music is a sensitive subject for him. While most of Christopher Plummer's well-known roles have occurred later in his career, the role that most people remember him for is as Baron von Trapp in The Sound of Music. However, Christopher has few fond memories of this role, and he hates to be reminded of it. In fact, most interviewers know to steer clear of the subject entirely. He found the character of Baron von Trapp to be incredibly boring, and he'd much rather be remembered for more interesting roles that required much more acting skill. Even though The Sound of Music is the third top-grossing film of all time, it's a sore subject for the actor, who's grown quite tired of hearing about it. While Plummer does admit the film was well made, he described it as not being his cup of tea. He even skipped out on the 40th anniversary cast reunion, although he was kind enough to show up for the 45th. The filming process was also a bit difficult for Plummer at times. He almost left the movie when producers discussed possibly dubbing his singing voice. He gave his best attempt at singing Edelweiss, however, and they were satisfied with his performance. He has no intentions of retiring. Many interviewers are keen to ask Christopher Plummer when he plans to retire, to which he always responds the same way: never. In an interview with Parade, he said, "No, I'll never retire. Don't want to. There's too many wonderful things to do." Even though his wife, Elaine Taylor, has long since retired from her acting career, she completely understands why he doesn't want to. Plummer also described himself as being insatiably ambitious. Despite finally winning an Academy Award, he'd love to go for more nominations. We can only imagine what he might accomplish during the later years of his career. He always wanted to play piano. Christopher Plummer's greatest regret is that he never pursued his love of piano. While he does play the instrument in his free time, he wishes he could have made a career of it. In one interview, he explained, "I always wanted to be a pianist, and I did study, but there's no time. I should have done that one 500 years ago. I would have loved to have shared both professions equally, you know." Even though it's a bit late for Plummer to become a professional pianist, he'll always be remembered for his amazing skill as an actor. Were you more surprised to learn about his long marriage to Elaine Taylor, or about his dislike of the film The Sound of Music? Let us know in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe to Factsverse for more.